Joining me today, Justin Keys. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good. Keys the Legend. Where'd you come up with your username?
It actually was given to me by an old guy that I played football with. When I actually came back to Taylor, he said Keys the Legend returned, and I kind of liked the way that came off.
Yeah.
So I was like, Keys the Legend, and then I just kind of ran with it from there, and then people started kind of just, it stuck really well. So I just
Right.
pretty much just went from there.
Right. You do you find it weird when people call you Justin?
I do, actually. The only people that really call me Justin at this point are my girlfriend and my mom. And really my girlfriend mostly. My mom just says baby or something like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, when you play football, you get so used to people calling you by your last name.
Yes.
When did you start playing football?
I got into football really late. I actually started playing football in the 10th grade.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, so I was supposed to play when I was younger, but I was from a real small town and I didn't go to public school, so we didn't have football, so I always grew up playing basketball. And I went to a private school, which was an hour, so we had an hour from where I lived, so we had to get up every single day at 5, but
Dang.
went to a private prep school in Jackson, Mississippi. So
So you're from Mississippi.
yes. I started playing in 10th grade, and
Man. Almost done. What is it like growing up in the South? In Jackson, Mississippi? That must be so interesting growing up there.
It was interesting because obviously growing up in Mississippi, you have a lot of demographic and just different cultures and different races. And I'm sure everybody at this point knows a little bit about Mississippi's history with racism and things. But growing up, to be honest with you, for me was such a transition and such a... my dad, I guess I saw life differently just because, I was adopted. So my dad was black, my mom is white. So growing up, and my two younger brothers are mixed. So growing up, I didn't see race as much as people do today, like black and white, interracial love. I saw my mom and dad, these two people came together and loved me and loved my brothers for who we are. So growing up, I saw that. It wasn't until I started growing up and hanging around certain people and them kind of being like, yeah, your mom's white, or you don't think that's weird, and just a little smart aleck stuff. And I was kind of like, what's wrong with her being white? I always was like, she's cool. She's, but growing up, that was definitely one of the things I always ran into was just, you get the people who make fun of you. You get the people who make fun of your family. You get the people that make fun of you being adopted. But as I kind of went through life, I was like, I'm grateful, that God put me in a position where I had parents who, were Christians, who loved me unconditionally. I always used to tell my brothers when they would get down a little bit, about getting made fun of or something, I'd be like, man, you got to think of it God blessed us, and almost being adopted, they got to love you almost as much as your parents, because they chose you. They, you get put in a situation where they're loving someone that they didn't necessarily bring into the world. And I think that was, I always used to tell them that, and I always thought that was beautiful. And, recently I shared that with my mom and dad, just how much I really appreciated just everything. And, I'm 27 now, and I don't think I've ever just told them really, how much I really appreciate it, how much they've done for me, and just my brothers and all just sacrifices that they've made. So.
Have you met with your birth parents?
I have not, actually. That's a question, obviously, growing up. People always ask me, do you want to meet your mom?
Yeah.
Do you want to meet your... One of the things that really I was really against, for one, my mom is very sensitive, and that's not a knock on her. When we were younger, my other brothers would kind of ask about things like that, and I could read on her that it made her feel like, well, I'm your mom. Why do you feel like you, she didn't say it, but it was kind of like, I have you. I adopted you. I
Yeah.
am the owner of you. Why do you care? Like, that she gave you up. Like, my mom didn't think that, like, she wasn't
Yeah.
petty like that, but I could tell it hurt her. And so I always kind of stayed away from it. And my biological dad, just to be honest with you, she, back in 2012, I never looked at my birth file, but I got my birth file out, and I read some stuff that was pretty disturbing. It was just talking about why I was giving up, and it actually turns out that my biological mom was actually raped, and on a date that she was set up on. And so that kind of put me in a spot of like, yeah, I don't really have any kind of desire. Like, if I meet my biological mom one day,
Right.
cool. It'd be cool. I'm not pursuing it, but I love my mom now more than anything. But yeah, my biological dad, I have no desire.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what kind of place that would take me to, because like,
Right.
that's something I take serious, just respecting women and
Yeah.
making them feel like they're not objects and things like that. And just reading that, it just, it wasn't good for me mentally. So, yeah.
Well, it sounds like family's still like really important to you,
Yeah.
like the one that you do have with non-biological parents. But that's cool that it sounds like you at least had it. Like you could have had a really bad situation, like because some people when they get adopted or other kind of situations, it gets worse, or you're constantly being like traded over, like you're, just something else. But it didn't sound like that was necessarily the case.
Definitely not. Great parents, and they've done so much, and made a
What's-
lot
what's-
of sacrifices for us.
What's like one of your favorite moments, like growing up?
Just in general?
Just like growing up with your family, hanging out.
To be honest, me and my family are obviously we're so different. Like, my dad is black, my mom is white.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, we're all, when you're adopted, you're pretty much a mixed bag of just everything. So
Are your brothers also adopted?
yes, all four of my brothers, I have four brothers.
Okay.
One lives in Tokyo, and
Whoa.
he's actually my dad's biological son.
Okay.
But my dad wasn't with the same lady anymore. This was college back when he had him. And my other three brothers, Solomon, Xavier, and Anthony, are all adopted as well.
Okay.
But yeah, growing up, I think back on it now, but we used to obviously have all the gaming systems out, and my dad, every Christmas and things, when we started getting the game, we always had the PlayStations, the Nintendo 64, just everything. And I remember one of my favorite memories I think about now, which, like I said, back in the day, it was not fun, but we would get home from church, from school, from anything, and the first thing, a rule my mom and dad made was you have to call out the system that you want to play when you get it, but you weren't allowed to call it out until you got in the house. So my dad would always park, like, our yard was pretty big, so he would park like really far back, and I was always the fastest because I was the oldest brother, so I was always the fastest. So as soon as he parked and we got out, I would sprint toward the house, get in the house, call out the system I wanted, go in, play the game. But I always knew, like, if my dad parks far away, I'm going to get in. Or, like, if I don't sit in the back seat, I'm always going to be primed to go and get the Xbox. And that's one of the memories I think about now. We laugh about because, like, now we all just, it's funny to think, like, I went home the last week and all my brothers had their, game system, the Xbox. I was like, wow, we used to, like, fight over this when we couldn't afford it. But that's one of the memories. It was just a childhood just staple for, like, especially we played so many video games, so that was really cool.
So when did you get into music? Because we actually recorded a song together back in college, and man, good times.
Yes.
Are you still making music?
I do still currently make music. Yes.
Okay. Do you like beats or also rap?
I just do the rap. I haven't gone into the production side of it
Okay.
as much.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's your like relationship with music?
To be honest with you, I've always liked listening to like beats and things because the art of it, like creating something, was always cool to me. Why I actually got into music, he probably doesn't even know this until now, but I had a good friend. His name was Nigel. We were in college in I want to say 2013, and he had a microphone that he brought back because he used to make beats and DJ, and he came in my room one day and was literally just like, bro, like, you can have this microphone. I'm not going to use it anymore. And I was kind of like, okay. And I remember the first song I ever recorded, actually, was called, it's just obviously releasing something because I was just excited, but it was called She's Hot.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I literally, how I recorded that was GarageBand on my computer, and I literally, GarageBand on my computer, and I literally, that really, really just, you know, a lot of people have this like, I grew up in the struggle. That was really it for me. It was just Nigel giving me that microphone.
Yeah.
Me wanting to pursue it kind of more. I always had it in the back of my head, and I always wrote things kind of, but I didn't have the confidence to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the studio or anything. But that kind of got me in there, and then I redid She's Hot, and like I released it, and people said their stuff, whatever, but it was the response I kind of got from that, like, dude, that song's actually kind of catchy, or like, dude,
Right.
like the beat is cool, or like, it was kind of cool. And so I was like, oh shoot, like I got to do something else. And so I just started like going in there, and just some days we'd be in there hours not do anything. Like it would just be just to be in there. And I think that my first year actually with that studio, I probably did 6 songs like the entire year, just gaining my confidence. I think one of yours was one of them, but had the cord for the mic, and I would have like a hoodie or something, and I would put it over and I recorded it. And I remember listening to it and being like, yo, this is crazy. I just recorded myself on a beat, and like being like, this is legit.
Yeah.
And I like let him listen to it, and he was like, bro, like you cannot release that. Like listen, like it's so muffled and it sounds like you're like, and I remember being like, well, what am I supposed to, cause I didn't know about mixing, mastering. I just was like, this is how they do it. They record it, they put it out. I didn't know. And then that's when I kind of went around, and I remember going to, you remember at Taylor, I went to the ETC one day to like print something, and I saw, what's his name, David?
Yeah, it sounds, yeah.
This was Dave?
Yeah.
The big guy, he walked back there, and I remember going back and looking, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a music studio. I remember going to Mr. Wormgore and asking him, I was like, how much does it cost to like rent out the studio or whatever? And he was like, it doesn't cost anything. You just got to write your name down. And I was like, it's free?
Well,
And
it's
so,
30 grand a year.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
30, yeah, Taylor's expensive, so yeah,
Right, yeah.
35,000, but
Yeah.
it's just like 6 songs, and seeing it and just learning how things work in a studio,
Yeah.
even how you have to like project your voice, like you can't turn your head, or you have to like really like sound bold when you're recording, and that's just a lot of stuff that I learned. But yeah, that's really what got me into it. Is just
Well, and then you got better, but how
Yeah.
did you do that? Because it seems like what you literally just mentioned was like the childish curiosity,
Yes, yeah.
right? Like it's something you were passionate about. Like, oh, and then you learn, you're like, oh, I didn't know you're supposed to make sure your voice is pointed towards the mic. You know,
yeah,
kind of-
yeah. To be honest,
Let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Is if I'm an aspiring XYZ,
Yes.
and maybe I'm afraid or whatever, like what's your one tip or something that you did yourself that like helped you learn and just start music or start art?
I try to tell people this all the time. It's like, if you have a curiosity about something, whether you pursue it or not, interest is enough to at least, there's no harm in trying. And if I would have done one song and just been done with it, I could have said to myself, I recorded a song. That's really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a recording artist technically. I think what kept me going was, the fact that it correlated so familiar with like art that I used to make and draw, because I wasn't always an artist either. I wasn't like paper and pen.
Yeah.
I didn't always do that. I wasn't born just like drawing. I picked that up from, we'll probably get into that a little later, but that was spur of the moment. Seriously, so spur of the moment. People don't even believe that, but I would say if you have a desire about something and you seriously have a passion about it, go and do it, because it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. If it's something that you're on fire about, do it. And I would say that why things got better and why the songs and production got better, I would say I got confidence in it and I was doing it consistently. Like on my MacBook, I probably have like 30 songs that half of them probably won't ever come out, but
right.
I just was always, I had my little microphone and I was in my room and I was just spitting my little stuff, and it was a lot harder for me too, because I didn't cuss in my music. So when you're thinking of stuff, sometimes you're like, man, if I could say this bar right here,
right,
this would be great. But I'm like, yeah, then my dad hears it and he's giving me this look, or my mom or my girlfriend. I was just literally at the time was like, I got to keep it clean. And that's harder. People don't really know how hard it is to make clean music without it being, obviously secular, or having it be just strictly about like Jesus, pretty much. It's hard to find that, not that it being about Jesus is a bad thing for people, but it's hard to find a balance of like making fun music, but it not be corny or cheesy or things like that.
Right.
And that's...
Yeah, MF Doom was like a lot like that.
Yeah.
Like just, he was like, I think, it was either him or Nas. I'm probably confusing.
Yeah.
It's one of them that was like, I want to making it a point to not curse, not because he has a moral thing about it. It's just to challenge himself.
Yeah. And you're actually, you're talking about Method Man, actually. Method Man.
Well,
but
there you go.
Yeah, still. But I mean, he was in that whole clique, whatever, but
there you go.
Yeah, still. And but that's what I would say, consistency. And like, if you like it, I mean, just being realistic, you're not going to please everyone anyway. I mean, there's nobody on this planet who can make every single person happy. So you might as well just, just go for it. That's all I would say. There's no harm in trying, and there's no harm in keep going if you love it. So just keep going.
Do you have like a motto? Catchphrase? Tattoo?
No tattoos yet. My motto, honestly, just playing off of just like the legend thing, I always just tell myself, like, when I leave the earth, regardless of my status or where I am, the legacy that's why I always tell people, just in general, I joke and things, but everybody I come in contact with, like even you, like, a legend to me is someone who is just remembered when they're gone. It doesn't mean like everybody takes like, well, your accolades have to be this, and you have to make this much money, and you have to be, those are all great, but what you leave behind is your legacy. Everybody has a legacy, and you can choose how you can be remembered, and I think that that's bigger than just what you did. Why you got people who haven't made a lick of money, but people love them, and they're humble, and they're great to be around. You can't just go off of just money or these different things. So I would just say, I don't have a catchphrase, but just be legendary. Whatever you're doing, just try to do it to the best of your ability, and just remember why you do it. And treat people right, man. That's my biggest thing. So.
Let's get into drawing.
Yes.
Because that's kind of like what has been really cool. We can even just quickly mention the fact that you gave Mark Battles, one of Indy's most famous rappers and most successful artists, you gave him like a custom-made art piece.
Yes. That's actually my second piece I gave him, actually. So that was a really cool experience. So.
Well, okay, talk about this. This is perfect for someone who, like, I think for anyone who's, especially an entrepreneur or their one thing, their first interaction with someone who's like just a little bit more famous than they are. I mean, Mark Battles is huge, but like there's that, maybe they want to, I think it's a lot easier than people think. Like, what did it take for you to meet Mark and to give him something like that?
The first time I met Mark was actually, I was at Taylor, and I got reached out to by a film. He makes films at Taylor, His name's Landry Long. He said, we did a Silent Night video, rap music video.
That's right, yeah.
And the next year he wanted to follow up with it because he was like, I can see this being huge potentially because Silent Night is the biggest basketball tradition in probably the country. I don't know a lot of them, but he messaged Mark Battles. This is when Mark had like 30,000 followers, so now he has like almost 500,000. I mean, huge. And he messaged this other guy called Blake Whiteley because he said he wanted to mend the middle. Blake is a Christian artist. Mark was secular, but Mark was big Indiana. So he was like, we had obviously this small Christian school, but we were like, he said it was a shot in the dark. It was like, I'm going to message these guys. If they message me back, whatever. If they don't, we're just going to make another song. They ended up hitting him back. I remember the day we were actually in, I don't know if you ever remember, but in the music build or in the film department, they also had a music studio.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Nice one. They message him, long story short, they come for the Silent Night day. They were about an hour and a half late. So we were literally like, I mean, typical kind of rising stars, but we were like, yeah, they're not going to show up. Like, why? We're not paying. Why would they drive? Mark's like blowing up. Why would? And it's the cool part about all this. Mark had no idea Blake was going to be there. Blake had no idea Mark was going to be there. We get in. They both get in. Blake comes in first. We chop it up, whatever. Mark comes in later. Long story short, Blake and Mark used to be literally best friends. Not joking.
What?
He said he hadn't seen him in years because Blake broke off from the secular and went Christian, and Mark stayed making his type of music. So they separated. But he said they used to be locked into the studio every single day. Blake actually used to be on tour with Wiz Khalifa, like crazy.
What?
No, seriously, crazy. That's another guy you should reach out. Blake Whiteley, he's a cool. He lives South Indy somewhere, but long story short, I met Mark and them that day, and I made some art for him because Landry was like, we have to reward them some type of way. I would appreciate it if you please. And he told me this literally the day before we were supposed to meet him, and so I was like, so I have to knock out hours of drawing within, a 24-hour frame while having homework, while trying to write this verse, while trying to get my outfit. But I appreciated it, and I gave it to Mark, and Mark actually gave me his manager's contact, his DJ's contact, and he was like, yeah, anytime you need something, just reach out to them. I got you. But I never really took him up on that. But that's how I met him, and I just talked to him. I was like, hey, man, it doesn't mean much coming from me, but I was like, you're inspirational. Just the fact that, like you said, you're meeting someone who's more famous than you are. So it was just cool to see that, and just for him to even take time out of his schedule like that, crazy. So I talked to him. I chopped it up with him. He actually followed all of us back on Instagram, and he messaged me one time and was just kind of like, you did like good verse, da-da-da, cool. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, that's cool, da-da-da. Time goes by. Mark actually messages me, and he says, hey, man, I'm going to be in Indy. This was actually a couple weeks ago with the art.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Indy at the Hoosier Dome. It's my first show back. Not Hoosier Dome. Citadel. Citadel. Okay. First show back. He messaged me, was like, I got you. He was like, bring whoever you want. Like, I was like, yeah, can me and my girlfriend come through? And he was like, yeah, I got you 2 tickets, VIP, you'll be in VIP, meet and greet, all this stuff. So I was like, what the heck? And I remember showing her, and I was like,
is this happening?
I was like, is he hacked? Or like, is this legit? Because he was like talking directly to me, like we were boys for years. So I was like, why did he have any reason to remember the Silent Night kid from 3 years ago? Like, what's that? And then my girlfriend was just like, I don't, you should. And I messaged him back, and I was like, yeah, like, I'll be there, man, da da da. And it wasn't until like a week out when I really was like, we have meet and greet tickets. I was like, I need to make him something. Yeah. And I literally drew him something, got it printed. I remember the day of the show, we were scrambling around because I was trying to get it framed so it looked professional, so he could actually be like, whoa. And that was just a whole another thing. Shout out again to my girlfriend because, man, she was a warrior through all that because we couldn't find the right frame. We were running around. She was speeding everywhere, but it was just that's just how that was, and yeah.
So you kind of alluded to the fact of how important drawing's been in
Yes.
your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of go there.
Drawing to me, honestly, and I didn't touch on this yet, but how I started drawing, not third grade actually, 6th grade. There was this guy, and like I said, there's a lot of things I'll say in here that these people don't even know. His name was Kentarius Harris. He was a good friend. I was in a class with his sister, her name was Kenesha. That was a huge blessing because that brought a lot of traffic my way.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, people just being like, man, we don't know who this is, but his art's cool. But then when people can see the vision and really see, like, he's making moves. Like, whoa, Keys, last week he told me he didn't have a job, and now he's talking to Mark Batt. Like, what's really going on? And so that was just cool, and that's just a cool relationship. Like, me and Mark don't talk or anything ever, but, like...
Right. You could easily said, I'm not famous enough to talk with this guy.
Yeah. And just wrote it off or just been like, and my girlfriend can attest, I was like very nervous. Like I was literally like, even with the art, like I believe in my product and I believe in what I stand for, but it's just weird because I was standing outside of his bus, freezing cold, and I didn't even know if he was going to come back out, but he came back out at one point, and all the video that actually they shot wasn't even planned. I was just going to give it to him and just be like done with it. But as soon as I gave it to him, I just saw this boom, big camera just came up, and I was just kind of like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, and then the guy was like, yeah, we're going to put you on the vlog and everything. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I just mentally, I was just like, that was a huge boost. Little things like that just keep you going and keep you grounded and just keep you going in your craft or whatever you're doing. It's good to see progress, and that was huge for me. And she would draw sometimes. We both would kind of draw, but he was like next level. Like he drew all the Dragon Ball Z, all the anime. Like back then, that was like the cool thing. He would sell his drawings at school. I mean, he would draw something and sell it for like, not a lot of money. It was like $8. But we'd be like, bro, I want a Goku. And he would draw Goku and be like, yeah, $8.
Yeah.
But back then, we didn't just have $8. So me and my brothers would save up our allowance or like get a bunch of quarters and just be like, we have all this, like, please, like, can we get your art? Like, oh my gosh, like, please. Like, in quarters. Literally, I remember dropping off like a bunch of quarters and being like, getting my Goku drawing, and I don't even think I have it anymore. It might be at home somewhere, but I remember just being like, this is crazy. Like, I have a Goku drawing. Like, and I remember I got to a point one day, like, honestly, and this is 6th grade, Justin talking, but all the girls were always like, I was like, bro, all we gotta do is get a pencil, paper, start drawing, and they're just gonna run to us. And I remember telling him, and Devin was like, yo, yes, bro. Like, so I'm not joking. Me and Devin, every day after school, we do our homework, pen, paper, and we started drawing. I mean, the first thing I ever drew where I was like, wow, that's actually not bad. It was actually a picture of Mickey Mouse. And I literally drew it, and I remember I took it to the gym, and I walked around, and I kind of like was trying to play it cool, like, I drew this, like, kind of like I literally carried it everywhere because I wanted people to see I was picking up drawing. And like, and I remember it was a girl that back then bubble letters was like the big thing.
Oh,
if you drew somebody's name in bubble letters, it was like, and he used to go, I mean, that would take him 2 minutes. He would just, knock it out. And I was literally like, yo, I remember talking to my friend Devin, I was friends with, that asked me to draw her name in bubble letters. And I remember being so honored, being just little 6th grade, unconfident, braces, glasses, Justin, just being like, yo, I have made it. Because I was literally like, I get to draw this girl's name in bubble letters. And I remember drawing it and giving it to her and how happy. She's like, Justin did that. Like, nobody could believe it. And I was literally like, wow. I was like, I kind of got something here. And just long story short, that's just how it started. I just started like I was saying earlier, consistently. I mean, my mom and dad would literally, I'd be in the study just drawing. They come back at 8, 9 at night. Like, are you all right? You have not moved? Like, dinner's ready? I mean, I was just, like, so obsessed with, like, I found my thing, like, and that passion that just was like, I like doing this. It wasn't even about the girls at one point. It was literally just like, this is fun. And I get to create things that the average person can't make. And, like, that was just cool to me. And I got to high school, and I would draw things, and people would, I drew a few things. I remember, like, in high school, I drew a lot of Spider-Mans. That was, like, the big thing. Spider-Man. I don't know why. Like, a couple girls asked for Spider-Man, or, like, Jack Sparrow. One girl asked for, like, a Lil Wayne. And it was just funny because, like, the girl asked for the Lil Wayne. It was just fun. I went to all-white prep school. So it was like, you would expect, like, I was expecting, like, Dixie Chicks or, like, Britney Spears or, like, but they were always asking for, like, some stuff that I, like, sports icon, like Jordan or something. But, some stuff, I knew my boundaries. I knew how far I could go with, like, my skill. There were some things I honestly was like, bro, I don't know if I can make that look good. But at the same time, I did what I could, and I kept going from there. And then going into college, I still took it. And then it really, the prime of my drawing career has been seriously the last, whenever I got my iPad Pro. That is when it really has been like, this is what I'm going to live off of one day. Like, because it's just everything. It's right there. I can take it wherever. I don't have to carry this crate around with all my color pencils. It's just all right there. And, like, it's monetized so easily because I can take it anywhere. Hey, can you email this to me? I can email it. I don't have to scan it and then send it or frame it, or, like, you can just send it off. And that's huge. And just recently, obviously with the art, just doing the shows, doing work for, artists that are, up and coming. I did work for a guy I grew up with who plays for the Cleveland Browns now. That was, like, a huge thing because he posted, and I got on, like, my like, his likes just to see who liked it. And I saw, like, he played for the Rams at the time. I sent it to him, and Todd Gurley liked it.
Dang.
Brandon Cooks liked it. The quarterback,
Goff,
literally liked the post. And I was literally, like, at my phone, just like,
rubbing your
Todd
eyes.
Gurley, like, the running back, like, just thinking, like, Todd Gurley saw my art. Like, he probably has no idea. He still doesn't know who I am, but it was cool. And another thing I did Nipsey Hussle, who passed away earlier this year. And Todd Gurley, seriously, independently liked the photo. Not joking. Like, I was just scrolling on Instagram one day, just about to go to bed. I refreshed, and it said TG400. And I was like, it's got to be a fake fan page. Clicked it. It was his page. And I remember I screen recorded it because I was like, if he, like, unlikes it, I have the evidence. And I literally, like, screen recorded it, and I was like, Todd Gurley liked my picture without me. I didn't even promote it. I just uploaded it. And I guess he searched for Nipsey Hussle or something and saw it and liked it. And just stuff like that, like, people might be like, well, okay, he liked it. He still didn't know you. You didn't get any money. But, like, to me, that was, like, so huge because it's just, like, all you do as an artist, you want to be recognized. And I think that was just a huge recognition. So, yeah.
How has anxiety and depression, like mental health, like played a role in your life? Because I know part of that was kind of why you wanted to be on here.
Yeah.
Let's just kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Now we're getting real. Anxiety and depression is the most bittersweet thing I think I've ever gone through. As a kid, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why I felt certain ways. I honestly just kind of attested it to, like, I'm from a small town, Mississippi. I'm a small town Mississippi kid. Not much. I haven't done much with my life yet. You're supposed to kind of feel down or not accomplished. I wasn't playing sports yet. It was a lot of stuff I was just confused on, or, like, it wasn't until I got older where I really learned, like, wow, this is serious. In high school, I didn't talk much at all. I mean, I know that's really hard to believe for a lot of people. They're like, Keys doesn't even shut up sometimes. Like, how do? But I didn't talk a lot in high school, and I think anybody who knows me from high school, who even listens to something like this, or even just knows me in general, would be like, or looks at my Instagram, they might be like, "What the heck? Like he just did a show. He didn't even speak to me in high school, or he didn't talk," because I didn't know what was wrong with me. It's like I wanted to be vocal and talk. I had so much to say, but it's like something was in me, like, and later find out it was, the anxiety of like not being judged by others, but just if something made me uncomfortable, I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. It didn't matter. Even football, like when football, like I was so afraid of like, I wanted to play and be good. I was a good athlete. I could play, but I was so afraid of how good I could be that it literally stopped me from being good. Like seriously, in high school, I talked to my head coach about it at the time, and I remember telling him, he's like, Justin, he's like, you're 205. You are solid. You're fast. But he's like, why are things not clicking? And I didn't even know. It was just really was my fear of excelling was my downfall. And
Man.
which is crazy to think. Like you think like you were afraid to be great. They're like people, you hear that, but transitioning through high school and like really just knowing the next step for me. Big reason I decided to go to Taylor University. When I got out of high school, I said something has to change. I was like, I can't go with this fearful luggage with my whole life. I was like, I won't get anywhere. I didn't know even what college was. I remember when I first mentioned college, my mom said, "What are you going to major in?" I was like, "What am I going to what?" I was like, I didn't even, I went to a prep school and I still didn't even know what the major was. Like I was just, but I knew I wanted to go to a smaller school so I could adjust. And I also knew I did not want to be in Mississippi. I said, I don't care how far I got to go, but I'm not going to be in Mississippi because I wanted to be out of the grasp of what made me comfortable. I knew I was going to be scared to death, but I was like, this will make me a better person. Long story short, I went to, sent in my film, everything. Coach Korf called me, actually Coach Perrine at the time. He said, we want you to visit. They offered me a decent chunk of change for a scholarship, which I was very surprised about. But they literally just went off of just like, he's got decent grades. He went to a prep school. He's got a solid highlight tape. He's big for this level of football. Like I was probably 210 at the time. I mean, that's pretty decently sized for a 18-year-old boy. So they, just going through that. And I remember telling my parents, I was like, we viewed other schools, but I was literally just like Taylor University. Because I was just like, they offered, I toured it. The kids were super cool with me. Taylor. I was like, I'm going to Taylor. Like, I was trying to be this like macho man. Like, I'm confident in it. My dad was like, you need to slow down and pray about it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to Taylor. Like, that's what's happening, and went to Taylor. I was living too fast. I remember when I first got there, I was always like, the fact that I had all this freedom and my dad wasn't saying get in the bed and I didn't have to get up at 5 a.m. every day. I didn't know how to handle it. And it was bad for me because I'm in the first week of class. Seriously, my first week of class at Taylor, full schedule. You know how it is as a freshman. I think I went to 2 classes that week. Not joking. Like, because I was just like, what? I was like, you get skips, you get this, you get... I was like, I'm not going to class. Like, what do y'all mean? We get 3 skips in class. Like, and y'all are going on the first... I remember and my roommates were like, yeah, bro, you got to get your syllabus and your... all this stuff. And I was just like... I'll just look at yours. Like, I was seriously like that. I was trying to be overconfident. I was just, I am confident. I don't need to do this. Like, and it came back to bite me. I ended up filling out. I came back that next year. I was out of shape. I was overweight. I suffered mentally. And that's kind of when it really kicked off for me of like, what am I becoming type thing. It wasn't like a bad thing. I wasn't doing anything stupid or anything, but I was just really, that's where I think I first met my really depressed, because I went there that first year. You get so close with people, and then I left, and your relationships, you just feel so weird because you have these people here growing with each other, and then I'm in Mississippi, I'm missing out on everything. So I was really depressed. I mean, I was at a point of like really just like, all I wanted to do was be back at the school, but I was also just like hurt. And I was like, do I want to go back here? Because everything will be so different. And I went back, and like I said, I was out of shape. I was overweight. And I'm still trying to find myself. And just, even with the football, with my major, I didn't declare at that time. I still was just like, what the heck? I like to draw. Put me in something like that. So I was in art education for like 2 weeks. And it was like me and 12 girls. Like, I was really like, what is this? So I dropped that. And then I went, my manager, or my, what's his name? My, what do they call it?
Coach?
Your assistant. Your, man, what's his name? Your advisor. Yeah, your advisor. Wow. He just told me, he was like, you should try graphic design. No idea what it was. Didn't know about anything. Went into it. Big learning curve. And as I went, I was still struggling with, like, I had a lot of things pulling me different ways. Like, at the time, I was dating someone or trying to date her, and that wasn't going well. Then you have football that's beating you up every day, so you're tired. Then you got school. Then I had my major. I had my family. I was far away. So I was really in a dark place in the sense of how I felt and just support system. And it wasn't until 2015, my senior year of football, one of my coaches said what I said earlier: what you leave behind, your legacy, is what people will remember you for. And I remember I was 240 at the time, which for me, my body, I was huge. And I remember him saying that, and it struck me like I was sitting in a room of 100 coaches, and they were all said that to me, just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've been on this football program for 4 years, have like 25 yards rushing, two touchdowns I think I had. I mean, I was just like, I have nothing, no legacy. And I remember, like, I was like telling myself, I was like, I am going to, for my last year, my goal was to be the best Taylor running back to ever. I was like, I only have 1 year, but I was like, I need to be remembered, because what they remember me for now is a kid who failed out, got fat, and I was just like, what are they gonna remember me for? So I went through that, and I had a really good year for that year. I scored 14 touchdowns. I was like 30 yards shy of 1,000 yards rushing, but I had like 1,200 yards all purpose with receiving and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like a really successful year, and I shocked myself. But what the worst depression I've ever gone through was, people really don't understand it, but after you play a sport and you're attached to something for 5 years, 6 years of your life, and it's gone. Like, I remember, like, a month after football ended, you're not going to practice, you're not lifting.
Yeah.
You're just you don't feel attached. And I went to a dark place. And previous to this, my girlfriend broke up with me. We had talked for like 5 years or something like that. So it was close relationship. And it was hard, because there was that with balancing football and losing football. And it took me down a dark path, and I was making some really bad mistakes. I mean, like, really, really bad stuff. Like, I remember just, like, being funny. Like, there was one night I was just like, a girlfriend of mine brought up, not a girlfriend of mine, yikes, cut that out. But a girl that I was friends with, literally came, and she had edibles, like weed edibles or whatever, and I was at such a place where I was just like, I'm depressed. My anxiety's bad. I probably won't even be around in a year or two. I'm just whatever. I remember she had these big brownies. I smashed like 2 of them.
Oh my God.
I mean, I had no idea.
She didn't say, hey, that's probably not a good idea.
She was staying at my place, not like staying with me on my bed or anything, but she was staying at my place because she came into town from where she was coming from.
Yeah.
And smashed these. No idea how they work, but she was asleep already on my couch. And I was like, edibles. I just smashed 2 of them.
Oh my God.
Worst, whatever you call it, trip anxiety. I mean, my dad can attest. I woke up. I remember being like asleep before they kicked in, and behind my eyes, it looked like if you ever played the game Stick Fight, Stick Fight where the little guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It literally just looked like 1,000 of those were just fighting in my head, like, and my heart was like, it literally felt like somebody was trying to punch it out of my chest. Like, felt like somebody was like,
oh my god,
smacking a tennis ball. Like,
yeah.
And I got up and I was super dizzy. I remember I fell on my apartment floor, or in my bedroom, and I hit the ground, and I couldn't find my phone. And I was like looking for my phone because I thought I was dying. I thought I was. Yeah. I called my dad. I said, Dad, I was pouring tears. I mean, literally crying out. Like, I was like, I am so sorry. Tell Mom I'm so sorry. Tell Anthony. Tell Xavier. Tell Solomon. I am so sorry, but I'm going to die. Like, I am dying.
Wow.
And, and if you don't, like, seriously, you can call my dad. Like, I was like, I'm dying. My heart is racing faster than it's ever raced. My vision is blurry. I couldn't see straight. I mean, it was literally like, I mean, I was just fumbling all over the place. I could barely slurring my words. I said, like, I'm going to pass out and I'm not going to wake up. And my dad was Justin, like, you got to calm down. I told him what happened. I said, I ate 2 edibles. I have no idea what's going on. Like, and he was just like, you got to calm down. He said, are you near any water? He said, can you throw up? What can you do? And he kept trying to tell me things. And I remember I went to my kitchen. Funny thing too, the girl who was I let stay in my apartment slept through the whole thing. I mean, I literally, I didn't think about that till later, but I literally walked out. I mean, I was just like, just going through. She didn't say like, you good or not, which we're cool on it now, but like, it's just funny. But I went to the kitchen. I remember I had like a jug of water. Like, I filled it to like the brim. I'm not kidding. I probably drank a gallon of water in 2 minutes. I'm not joking. I mean, I downed this thing because I was like, I'm staying alive. I was like, I am not going to be that kid that died in his apartment. Like, I was like, I remember I woke up the next day and went to a football game because this was the year after my senior year. And I still was literally like, just anxiety was up. Worst I'd ever felt because of the effects of the how it made me that was just it. Seriously, I say it all the time, but I was on a high from that. I didn't regulate until like a year and a half after that. I'm not joking. I'm like, it messed me up so bad because it showed me how far mentally my mind can be messed up that it scared me. I was going to like the DC. I wasn't eating. I mean, like, seriously, I remember a guy, I was walking out the DC and he was like, Keys, you lost a lot of weight. And I remember I got on a scale. You got to take granted too. I was right out of football a year. I was 215. I literally got on the scale. I was like 190 pounds, which everybody's like, that's still a pretty decent size, dude.
Yeah,
but I had lost almost 30 pounds just off of not eating and just depression. And how
did you get out?
How I got out, and this is, man, like if
not that you're not out of it now.
Yeah, I still struggle with it, but I know how to cope with it. That's the important part. I love telling this story because I just talked with this guy who I'm friends with. He's a pastor out in Phoenix. We talk once a week. I love telling this story, especially on a platform where it can help people. If people who are listening to this or people who are already followers of Jesus Christ, I'm not joking you, or if you're teetering with your faith or you're not a believer, one night I drive to Virginia because I was struggling so bad. I think anybody with depression and anxiety can say, this is it. Like, kind of like, I was making my rounds pretty much. Like, I know that's super hard to say now, but I was making my rounds. I remember seeing all my guys at school and being like, I didn't tell them like, yeah, bro,
this is the last time I'm seeing you.
Yeah, I didn't say like, last time. But I was like, man, let me go see my boys before I, hurt myself pretty much or,
something.
Yeah, something bad. And my cousin called me and he was like, random and was like, I was making music at the time still kind of. And he was like, dude, come out to Virginia and I'll get you in a big studio. And I remember being like, dang, 8.5 hours. I don't know. Then I remember being like, that's family. Like, I got to go see my cousin before I maybe kill myself. Like, honestly. So I drive out there. We record the song, everything. Toughest time of my life because I still just felt so cringy.
What was it like driving, like in that, like
Terrible.
Like were you like I can turn around?
Yep.
Or like what was it like?
It was, I mean, 16 hours both ways of
Yeah.
just the most wound up I ever felt, hungry but couldn't eat. Just, I mean, you were in a place you were unfamiliar with. I was uncomfortable because just my anxiety had me just like, but I remember like driving and the beat we were gonna, like,
Yeah.
I just remember driving and listening to it and just trying to like rap. But I remember being so hurt and so depressed. It was like hard to do it. Or if I did it too long, my mind would be like, what are you even rapping for? You won't even be alive in a month. Who's gonna care? Like, seriously. And literally what I told my cousin when we made the song, I remember when we were recording it, I was like, yeah, I'm just going, it's dumb to say now, but I was literally just like, yeah, this will be my last song. But I said it in a joking way of like, I'm retiring. Like, I was like, after this, I'm just going to retire, bro. This is it. Like, this is going to blow us up. But really, it was a cry for help. Like, yeah, I'm going to be dead in like a month, bro. Like, legit. Yeah. And so I get back from, I know you're, I get back from Virginia, and they're having their spring football game. I go into the field, I chop it up with everybody, football players I used to play with,
Yeah.
After everyone left, lights are off, I started just crying, literally, on Taylor University's football field. Crying out to God, crying to myself and crying out to God. And I said, I know I've made a lot of mistakes. I know that I'm not perfect. But why am I the guy that you chose to put through this? Because I feel like at the time, I was like, there's a lot of people who have done way worse than me that are living fine. And I feel like I don't have a reason to live, And I said, if you like want me alive, I need you to show me the way. Because I was like, I went a year and a half just being stupid. I mean, some of the dumbest stuff I could ever... Like, I'm so ashamed of, even to this day sometimes. And I'm not joking with you, Monson. Walking back, I don't know if you remember, but Taylor's football field, you had the football field and you had the track.
Yeah.
Like the track by the chapel.
Yep. I'm
walking back. The girl that I'm actually dating now, she's on the track. She comes up to me and she says, like, I'm like, what are you doing out here? We talk for a little bit. We go back. I remember thinking, I was like, man, she's super cool. Like, yeah, she's a really cool girl. The next day, my friend Colton calls me. He says, Justin, I have a dog, but I can't. They were like, she's the runt of the litter. We don't even know if she's going to live, but like, we don't want to take her to the pound or put her down, but you got to take the chance that she might not live. Like, and I was just like, man, but he was like, I got to know now. I was literally just like, yeah, bro, I'll take the dog, because at the time I was like, I might not be able to live for myself, but, I have to keep this thing alive. Hit's fighting for his life just like I'm fighting for my life. So I was literally like, I'm going to keep this thing alive. And, like, I remember getting the dog and, like, really now, going through it. I get the dog, long story short, a week later, me and the girl that I'm dating now, get a relationship and start moving closer. And then I also have this dog, but I always take it back to, like, seriously, like, if anyone's struggling or teetering with their faith, I'd, like, literally cried out. And that's what I think God, no matter how far down you really get, if you always just come back and revert it to the way God wants you to, live, and the way God wants you to cry out and be intentional with Him and just anybody, it goes a long way. Like, my life changed. I struggled for over 2 years with anxiety, depression. I was looking at stuff I shouldn't have been looking at. I was living a lifestyle that I used to literally, like, clown people for living like, with, like, just being stupid with girls, and I mean, just doing stupid stuff. And but it all literally changed within 2 weeks. Not joking. Just off of just me walking on a football field and crying out. And huge. I mean, I'm dating a girl I've been dating now for over 2.5 years. My dog is healthy and strong and energetic and drives me crazy. But I tell them all the time, I'm like, I literally tell my girlfriend all the time, I'm like, you saved my life. Like, and, like, I mean, God, like, she always asks me, like, how do you know we're going to work out? How do you know that, how women are? But I tell her, like, I literally say, I'm like, God sent you. Like, that's how I know. Like, I don't know what's next, but I know he sent you now, and so I'm going to fight for it. Like, you know, I tell her that all the time, and that was huge for me. So that's kind of like a mini testimony right there.
Yeah.
But that's huge, man. I mean, like, if anybody's teetering or depressed or anxiety, I struggle with it, and bad, and I cried out. Like, seriously. I'm not saying it'll be your results will come 2 weeks later, but you will see improvement if you just let go and let God, man. Like, man, like if
awesome.
that literally that changed me. And I'm not perfect now. I mean, I'm,
Right.
you know, even with relationships with like my girlfriend's parents or like my parents at times, we still go through things. My brothers, my relationship with anybody. I just, you know, I still have my struggles, but I don't fear like I used to. Because I know I've been through the hardest thing I think I could ever go through. And that was a couple years ago. And I was like, if I can get through that, what's not having a job? You know, I'm going to get there. You know, God's showing me. He's setting me up for the big picture. And I think that that's the big thing that people need to know. If you struggle with anxiety and depression, it's all about having a plan of action. And it's letting God use you. Because, I mean, like, God can turn anything positive, man. Like, it's crazy to think that you can, you know, but God can turn anything into a positive thing, man. And I'm like 1% of like what people would consider a bad person, but he changed. I mean, I was really in a dark place, like suicidal, you know, definitely hurting, and like didn't want to be on earth anymore.
You're
you
here.
know, I never hurt myself or like did anything that, you know, praise the Lord, but I wanted to. And like I was talking to you earlier, it was bad, you know, with the pills and having to like not have stuff in my house because I was afraid to like harm myself. Like,
That's a good tip, though.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, they don't
Yeah.
know that just by
Yeah.
having sharp objects or
Sharp,
like pills.
I mean-
You said ibuprofen. Like, you might not.
ibuprofen.
Right.
Like, people don't even know. You could like pop some strong ibuprofens and like really you won't like die or anything, but like you could like really you could like hurt yourself. Like, you know, and
Just by taking the proactive.
just by taking,
Yeah.
I remember too, I used to sleep on the floor. Like, I had a full bed in my room, but I slept on the floor. And I remember I took my sheets because my dad, when I was talking to my dad about it, he was like, don't keep things around you that
Yeah.
invoke negative thoughts about killing yourself or anything. And no joke, like having sheets on my bed, all I ever thought was like hanging myself with them. I'm not joking. That sounds crazy, and people probably hear this and be like, Keys, whoa, what the? But I'm just saying that because like,
Yeah.
I've been through it, and you know, people look at me and they're always like, "You're this guy. What do you mean? You're always in the crazy shirts and the what?" But I went through some dark times, man, and that's, you know, now it's like sometimes I go and just lay on my bed and my mind is just clear, and I literally just lay there and I'm like, wow. Like, I remember a point in time where, or if I change my sheets, I remember sometimes with my girlfriend, she'll help me change my sheets on my bed when I do laundry or something, and I'm like, you know what's crazy? A few years ago, I was afraid to do this because I thought I would just tie him to the ceiling and hang myself.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. Like, it just, I could eat, like, sometimes, like, the last week I had a steak, and I was like, wow. I remember at a point in time, I could not have a knife in my hand. Like,
Right.
but God can use it, man. And, like, I think that that's the biggest story of, like, of my life and my testimony. And I'm 27. I still got a whole life, but man, you just let go and let God, man, and he'll seriously, he can turn that negative to a positive.
This is awesome, man.
Yeah, man. So anybody struggling with anxiety, depression, man, I'm right there with you. I still struggle with it, but God's got you, man. And like it's all a plan of action. God didn't say, you know, when you struggle or if you struggle. He didn't say if you struggle. He said when you struggle. And I think that's huge because you got to take it back to that and just go to him, and yeah, he'll direct your path, you know. So
we're going to wrap up. I've got 5 fun, quick questions for you. It's kind of a speed round, sort of.
yeah.
No. Number 1, favorite part of yourself?
Favorite part of myself is my optimism, I would say. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite like artist that is not like artist painting wise?
Okay. John Bourne. I don't, you guys, if y'all look it up, his Instagram is @JohnBourne. He draws on like Maseratis and Lamborghinis and people's bodies.
Yeah.
He does art and like all these digitally. He's like the most versatile. He's like seriously like an idol of mine. So, yeah, John Bourne.
Favorite 2019 memory?
Favorite 2019 memory? Well, for being honest, I'm gonna have to say the either art shows or the Mark battles. But yeah, those all happened within 2 weeks of each other. So I would definitely say that's good. The Mark battles.
Shout
That's
out.
pretty cool. Yeah, you got that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
If you could go back to any time period in history and live,
Oof, that's tough because like, not to be weird, but like. Black people back in like the 50s and stuff, we didn't get like treated the best. So I mean, like it's pretty much like 70s and down is when we kind of got our clout. But if I could go back like realistically and like my skin wasn't a factor, I'd probably go back to like I've always been kind of intrigued with like the gladiator times, like the fact that people used to like legit like get thrown into a dungeon with a lion and have to fight it. Like, I would have loved to see that. I mean, like, not see somebody die, but just the fact that, like, people used to
that's football.
Yeah. They used
Sunday
to.
nights.
They used to live like that. Like, that's crazy. But, yeah, I think that'd be the time. And just the fact that, like, even art and stuff back then is just so memorable. Because, like, if you could draw or something back then, it was like, they just idolized you. So, yeah.
So, 2020 goal. Now that we're in 2020, what's one goal you have?
2020 goal. I'd like to definitely with the art. I would like to just more shows next year. I would say that's my biggest goal. It's just taking my art further than it's ever been. But my goal I have set that's a really rough goal is I want to do a show every month next year. So
there you go.
Yeah. A show, that's my goal. A show every month or a show every like 50 days or so, once a month or once every 2 months. Just, I want to do a show pretty much every time that, don't let 2 months go by without doing a show pretty much. So,
there you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, man, we're in 2020 and you're the first person in 2020.
Yes, let's go. That's awesome.
Sweet. So, cheers to that. And, yeah, dude, shout out your your artwork, all that kind of jazz.
Yes. So on everything, it's @Keys the Legend. You'll be able to tell. Just look at it; it's got art. But @Keys the Legend on Instagram, @Keys the Legend _ is Instagram. @Keys the Legend on anything else. Mostly just Twitter. But yeah, DM for work. You can do custom drawings, custom paintings. Even if you need something for a birthday, holidays, anything, you want to switch it up, definitely, I'm your guy. Fast turnaround times, and people say don't promise that kind of stuff, but I can promise you I can get it to you fast. I love doing this. I love when people reach out to me for work. But yeah, so I look forward to, how this touches people, and I look forward to people if they reach out and get some art. So, yeah.
Sweet. See you next time, guys. Bye.
See ya. Sorry, I went over like.
So you are dating somebody right now.
Yes.
How has that been going? / talk about her. How she's supporting you through your endeavors.
It's been good. Every relationship has its ups and downs for sure. And I think that's like the best part is we're just learning how to live life with balance, with ourselves as well as each other. It's actually kind of funny because we are literally complete opposites. I'm more right brain, she's more left brain, or however you say. I'm more creative, she's more logistical, but it works well because we both have balance. And her, things she might struggle with, I can kind of help her because that's more what I'm comfortable with, and things that I struggle with like structure or, being calculated with things. She's better with that, and so it really it's really good for just balancing each other out and helping lift up some of our weak spots. So
Tips for a relationship.
Ooh, communication. I know that's like super cliche, but what I've really learned is you've got to communicate in a relationship more than anything. I mean, big, small, doesn't matter. There's times where I'll just start drawing and I'll be drawing for hours and I'll forget that I leave my girlfriend on red or something, but I get so caught up in what I'm doing, and it's really, she's just be like, Justin, all you have to do is send me a text and say, hey, I'm going to be drawing, and then it won't leave me just like, and that seems kind of like, some guys would be like, man, come on, that's too much, but like, it's 5 seconds, and then you pretty much, you avoid having to talk to her for 4 hours about something that's just in your control. So I would say communication, and definitely just being open and vulnerable. Like, if you really care about them, just be open and vulnerable and listen. Men, I know men struggle. I know I used to struggle with it, still do sometimes, but listen to your girlfriends and what they say and what they tell you, because there's a difference between, like, my girlfriend always says to me, listening and hearing. Or, hearing, listening. You can hear somebody, but are you really, are you just saying that to say it? Or like, so you just make sure you listen, make sure you communicate, and definitely just be open with your significant other. And I think that's a recipe for moving forward. So, yeah.
I totally agree. It's cliche because it's true, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about a recent incident / exciting thing that happened.
Yes.
You had a drawing.
Yes.
That was reposted by the one, the only, unemployed Antonio Bryant, former #1 wide receiver of the NFL. He posted a photo of you, but he, how was that? Like, so many people blew up on you said Julian Edelman.
Edelman was one. There was a few some rappers and things that I was looking through the likes, and they ended up liking it and stuff, and I thought that was pretty cool. But it was actually kind of ironic because a couple minutes before I saw the picture, actually, I was talking to my dad and I was telling him I was kind of discouraged because I don't know where I'm going yet. Like, I'm unemployed at the moment, and I don't know when my next show is going to be. Just different things like that. I talked to him for probably 40 minutes, and I remember I was watching the Saints Colts, and I laid back on my bed for 10 minutes and just took a power nap. And I got up and just got on Instagram, and I saw the picture, and I didn't see that Antonio Brown had posted it, but I saw why is my picture back on my timeline? That's super weird. I posted this 12 hours ago, and then I saw that Julian Edelman liked it, and I was like, whoa. I was like, that's cool. And then I saw it had 10,000 likes, and then I was like, what is happening? And then that's when I noticed wow, Antonio Brown just posted me on his Instagram, and I was I freaked out at first, legit, not even trying to be funny or anything, but I legit cried. I don't think y'all really get it wasn't or anything, but it was definitely my eyes watered up because as an artist, all you want to do is be recognized, really, and that's obviously the biggest recognition I've gotten so far. He didn't leave a tag, which was kind of bogus, but it was still a cool thing because it was just he saw it, and he saw it as worthy enough to share and he has a very large platform. He's probably the most talked about right now, athlete, whether it's good or bad. He's definitely in the news and on ESPN a lot. So, that was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it was so nuts when I saw that AB. God, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about Banksy and how Banksy being known for not knowing who he is. He doesn't take credit for it. He does, but and how someone can repost your work that could be really fun or not fun. Well, it could be really awesome that somebody that's so famous can post your artwork, but. And it was okay. I mean, you got recognition because so many people were tag this guy,
tag,
So you had a lot of people shouting you out, and especially I even did that. But how do you feel about knowing that you're putting out great work and it may or may not, like it's this weird, like you're being recognized, but you
Yes.
almost can't take the credit, like, because he didn't tag you, or like it's like there's this limiting, like, you know.
I would say, you know, I definitely thought about that. And what I was, obviously in the moment, I thought about the tag and how I couldn't take the full credit, or just obviously just being recognized. My biggest thing was, like I was saying earlier, it's all just, I guess, steps to it. And I think that was the biggest thing for me, was like, I thought about that, like, man, he uploaded this and he didn't tag me. And then I thought about, like, he has a big platform and things. But I tried to, like, find the good parts about it, because I'm like, man, if he would have tagged me, that could have literally been, I don't want to say a career starter, but something that's like, people would have been like, who drew this? This is the guy who drew this.
Julian Edelman's like, hey, make one for me.
Yeah,
like
Julian,
you start getting people that are
definitely. And yeah, it's a different outlook. It's crazy. Something so simple could have been that different. But I try to think about that, but I also try to think moving forward, there's going to be bigger things to come. And this was obviously a tremendous thing that happened, and that was really cool. Like I was saying, nothing really came from it. Like, I'm not richer from it, or I'm not nothing. You know, I got a few people that were, this is really cool, that DM me and things. But like you said, they didn't put money in my pocket or anything. But like I said, I love what I do, and I'm really passionate about it. So it was cool, like, you know, just for it to be recognized, and just for him to see it, it's worthy to be uploaded. So,
yeah,
that was definitely, that was amazing. So,
yeah, I remember, like, when I post, like, there was a. I remember there was a time where, for Gary Vaynerchuk, I gotta reset this. I remember when I was doing my Good Will Hunting journey, where Gary Vaynerchuk, he owns like this blogging company called 137 PM, and they cover, like, you know, sports, pop culture. They just cover a lot of stuff, and it's like kind of a blog. And so, but Gary's like one of the main investors, and I was like, kind of taking his own kind of thing of saying, like, just create stuff and bring it to the table and say, hey, I made this thing for you, without even asking, and then just kind of going that route. Definitely. And so I was like, would you guys be willing to write an article or interview me on my company, or I'll just write the article and then can you edit? And like, yeah, if you write the article, we'll put it up. Wow. And so then it got put up, and then Gary Vaynerchuk retweets the article.
Wow.
And so I was like, that he likes the tweet, that I was like, I exist. Like, just knowing that someone was like, yeah, that's good work.
Definitely.
Like, I think there was something to that. That, yeah, that's so cool that he got to. I think I also called him Antonio Bryant.
Yeah.
It's his brother that sucks. I don't know. Let's talk about, like, unemployment.
Yes.
And I've been unemployed, I think maybe twice, but at least once I have, and it's just frustrating, like, trying to find contract jobs, or especially in the creative field, it could be a little difficult, even more so.
Definitely.
You know, talk about how that experience has been, your mindset, and then maybe, like, tips that have helped you, you know?
It's been definitely stressful. Definitely some tests with my anxiety. Definitely a test of faith, and honestly just where I am mentally. You know, it all started last year with I got last year, about in May, actually. It was like 2 days after Taylor's graduation. I got let go from the job that I was at currently. They couldn't afford to pay me anymore. It was a small print shop, so I figured, you know, it wasn't any bad blood or anything. It just sucked in the moment, because it was like, man, like, what do I do now? I still had 3 months left on my lease. Long story short, I moved back home for a short bit to reset, and I was actually going to start learning to code. started doing that for a little while. My brother's into it. Wasn't my thing. You know, I'm a creative, obviously. I enjoy making things, not really behind what makes the things type thing. I'm not the background. I like kind of being the forefront and like seeing it visually. Coding was more like the back end of things. So I gave that up, and I actually got a job at a call center here in Carmel when I was in Mississippi, and I came up. I actually got let go from that job because my truck broke down multiple times, and I was Ubering to work, which was really expensive. And I kind of was telling them, like, hey, I need to get my truck worked on. I might need to take a day or two to, like, get this worked out. And I just got a text one day, and they let me go. And they just kind of were like, you're too much of a liability. You're new. We'll just find somebody else.
Jeez.
Yeah, honestly. And what was worse, they text me. They, like, just out of business, you call people, you know. It's just be professional about it. So that was very heartbreaking because I moved back from Mississippi to Indiana to work this job, which it was just a normal job, but that happened, and then I was trying to kind of going through the motions again, and I was unemployed for I think a month at that point. Like a month maybe went by. Obviously, I wasn't making any money. I was getting help from my parents, and I ended up like one day just getting on like Google and typing in who's hiring near me. I think that's what I typed is who's hiring near me, and I saw TJ Maxx and I saw Planet Fitness, and so obviously minimum wage jobs. I think at TJ Maxx I was making $9, and then Planet Fitness I think I was making 10, but they were both part-time. So essentially you work a whole lot to not see a lot of revenue. And I remember at one point the only thing Planet Fitness had available was night shift. So I would go to TJ Maxx, I would go and I would work from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. for that shift, and then I would have to go to Planet Fitness at 10 p.m. to, I think it was 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. So I would get home. Yeah, I mean, it would be like 7 in the morning, 3 a.m., then go home, rest a little bit, you know, unwind or whatever, and then you're going to work again. And I did that. I worked at TJ Maxx for a while, but I actually quit the Planet Fitness because I just couldn't keep the schedule. And the TJ Maxx was a seasonal job, so after Christmas ended, obviously you get let go because it's seasonal. Yeah, right. And my roommate at the time told me, yeah, you should come work at this call center that I work at. And I was really against that because I was just like, call center culture is just nothing against people who work there at call centers, but it's just not my thing. I'm just not let me just talk to these people on the phone for 8 hours a day. It's not me. But I needed money. It paid well. It had commissions. It had bonuses. You get free vacations. I mean, the perks were there. It just wasn't what I was ideally wanted to do. So I go there. I'm working there. I worked there till about, I started in January of this year, and I worked there until April because I got another job in marketing and sales, or marketing and graphic design in my field. So obviously I was like, yeah, I'm going to take the latter. So I did that. I worked for this company down in South Indianapolis. It was contract, but it was one of those ones where like, if you do a good job, they'll hire you on. So I obviously was like, I'm going to like do whatever I have to do to stay in this. And like, so I'm there, I'm working. The guys are telling, you know, they give me my projects, I knock them out. They give me these projects, I knock them out quick. I mean, I was always on stuff like super quick and everything. And they gave me a pretty light load at first, and they started loading more. In the last, like, I want to say 3 weeks to a month I was there, I'm not joking, I kid you not, I would go to work and they would just pretty much give me the day off, like at work. They would say, no, like, you think I'm joking. Like, I'd get to work and they would say, yeah, man, we don't have much for you to do today, so you can just kind of play around in Photoshop, or you can work on something to just kind of...
Like it was high school.
Yeah, no, seriously. And that, in my back of my mind, I was kind of like, if they're running out of work, what do they need me for type thing? So I was kind of like, that kind of freaked me out. But after 2 weeks went by and it was the same thing, I was like, maybe it's just a slow season, you know, maybe whatever. I get home about a month after that started happening. Actually, I don't get home. I go to my girlfriend's house, and we're just about to go get like dinner or something after work, because she worked like a mile from me at that point, so it was really cool. But I get a text once again, when I get to her house, and it says, "Hey, such and such doesn't want to have you return. You know, come clean out the office tomorrow, or come clean out your desk tomorrow, like, and report back to." It was like I went through like a temp agency, so they were like, report to us, and we'll give you the diagnostics and the rundown. And I was at that point, I was so frustrated because once again they texted me, which was, oh my gosh. They texted me. I was let go from another job when I'd been there for about 3 months at that point. I was doing a good job. I was told I was doing a good job. And just to be let go again was just very like disgruntling and very, it was just hard. It was discouraging. And so I was literally back to square one, and it was just kind of like, you know, I had a good amount of money saved up and stuff, but I knew I didn't have any income, so I knew it was going to just go to rent and food and gas, and so it was going to deplete very fast. And that was back, it was in the summer, because I remember it was hot, but it was sometime at like the end of the summer, and that's how it's been for a couple months, about 4 months now, almost 5 months, and it's been tough because I'm having to like get help from like, you know, my parents at times, and, you know, my girlfriend helps me, and it kind of is discouraging at a time because we'll go get food or dates or something, and, you know, she's paying, and it's just kind of, as a man, that can never feel good, but that just comes to show you what type of person she is and how humble she is to be able to do things like that. But yeah, it's definitely been a time, just to reflect, because one thing I've learned about being unemployed and pretty much living by yourself, you know, I have roommates, but like they're not, we're never really like, they work, I'm doing stuff. We got our schedules. I get a lot of time to think, you know, when you're by yourself a lot. And one of the things I felt that, you know, the Lord was putting on my heart was really find that passion and that drive. I was saying this a little earlier in the podcast, but like, you got to find something you love and really can hold on to and like push forward in. Like I say it all the time, I'm like, I don't know where I would be without art. I'll always stand by that. But these past few months, I've had some of the biggest accomplishments without having any financial type of backing to them, really, if that makes sense. You know, most people are like, well, he got a big payday, or he got this, like, I've made connections that I would have never been able to make, you know, with the Mark Battles. I've, you know, the Antonio Brown was another thing. You can't pay for that.
And it's still too early to know if that's not, you know, someone's like, yo, he gets a text a week from like, yo, who made that? You know, you don't know. You
just never know. And there's just some things money can't buy in the long story. And like, I've learned that, you know, I've had a few shows since then. I've sold artwork. People hit me up for prints. I've gotten a lot more stuff that's like a clientele base, which is really cool because, you know, it's not life-changing money or anything, but, you know, to make some people for the most part hit me up, and I've made a couple $100 off of just like, you know, it's one guy I work with right now, like literally an artist from Indianapolis. I've done he's hit me up for probably 8 covers in the last like month, and they're like 70. I charge about $75 to $100 a pop, and he doesn't blink. It's just, I sent the money, bro. Sent it. So it's really cool because there's some days I'm really like down to my last. Like my dog's hungry, I'm hungry, you know, and he comes through. But it's cool because things are building, and it's baby steps, but baby steps are better than digressing. And I think that's a big thing. And I would say for unemployment and just like a key to doing it, or when you're unemployed, you know, obviously apply to jobs and be looking to get employed. Don't just be a bum. But time management is a huge thing. If you have a passion, always set aside time to pursue your passion, and also just plan out your day. You know, one thing I that was huge for me is get up in the morning like you're going to work. Like, pretty much. It doesn't matter if you're unemployed and you don't have anything to do the next day. Like, set an alarm, get up, set it out, schedule your day. Like, I get up, I walk my dog, I make a little breakfast, and I'll draw. I'll just say, I'm going to draw until my iPad dies, which is about 4 hours. So I'll just draw. I treat it like work. Then I'll go get lunch while my iPad is charging for like an hour, hour and a half, or I might like play Xbox or something, but take that little break and then treat it like a day. And I'll work until 5 or later, but it's always about just staying on the ball and being consistent and driving towards something, because you're not always going to see results off the as soon as you do it. But like you were just saying earlier, a week or two, somebody sees it and somebody sees the effort, but you always have to keep your pedal down and just make sure you're going forward, because you can't be sitting there feeling bad for yourself or comparing your life to other people's lives and accomplishments. Like, everybody's highlight tape is different, so definitely that's what I would suggest if you're going through unemployment or you're in a job where you're like, this is just for the money type thing, is just keep striving towards your passion.
Post-college, how do you make friends?
Post-college, how do I make friends? I've been blessed to have a few close friends still close by. But like I said, networking and marketing. I mean, even just with, what you were talking about, like the Join Plug and just getting yourself out there more. Like, I'm passionate about my art. But I've had a few shows where it's weird for me to be in front of people while showing my art. I'm used to just uploading it. That's cool, man. And I'd send a little text back or something. But definitely just getting yourself out there and just getting in front of people and getting in front of new crowds, getting in front of different types of people, even if you're like, they're artists and I knit, I don't know, but just get in front of people who do different things. Like you, for instance, you do clothing, you sell clothing, and you do podcasts, and I'm an artist, but we come together, and that's just how it branches out and makes more things. It's just, I would just say, just get out there, man. Whether you go out to a bar, whether it's you go out to just a place where you just get around new people and new experiences. So
you can even do it at like an insurance level. Like go to insurance conventions and meet other people from the Midwest Insurance. You go to those things,
trade shows, anything like
something in your field. Go to conventions or see if there's Facebook groups like
definitely
the indie creatives.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's not a thing, but I just invented it. But indie creatives coming soon.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna do. I feel like the 5 we did at the end was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
You did do what's your biggest?
I did want to ask you how many 4th graders you think you can take in a fight.
Oh man, I'm ready for this answer too. And is it just me by myself?
You're in a gymnasium.
Yes.
Full just fists.
No weapons at all.
No weapons. You can either knock them out, kill them, whatever you want.
And is it at once or is it like waves?
Oh wow, that's a great question.
Yeah, I've talked about this with people before. So
probably like at once.
At once. 4th grade, so that's about, what is that? 10. Ooh, man, I would burn out after a while, but I would definitely say, I would like to say I could probably get through about. I don't even want to know a number. Probably, this might sound crazy, but probably 250, I want to say.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'd like to say that, but it doesn't, not trying to sound morbid or evil, but you could,
snapping necks.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get in a boxing match with him. I'm in there to end it. I'm just.
They're coming for your life. You got to defend yourself.
Yeah, I'm honestly probably, it's gonna be a lot of body slams, a lot of, just quick stuff. They're just gonna get them. I
guess you could probably use whatever's in a gymnasium. So any jump rope, any whipping, any dodgeballs, probably.
Dodgeball.
Throw a hula hoop at a kid, knock him out.
A hula hoop actually would come in good just for getting space too. You can just swing that thing.
That's true, man.
Might not do much damage, but it'll definitely like. I mean, you hit a 4th grader with a hula hoop, like 10 years old.
Coming this fall.
Yeah,
Keys. 250 4th graders.
No, but yeah, I'd say that's a pretty high number, but
Yep.
I think that if it's me or them, I could probably get through 250 to 300. Wow. Yeah. So.
Man, that's like half a class.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a lot, but
our graduating class is a little small this year because Keys knocked them all out. I just asked you because I heard it on some other podcast. So somebody was like, "How many 4th graders do you think you could take?" Yeah. So now, let's see. That's gonna be. All you do is 5.
probably 250. With a weapon, dude. Oh, I don't know.
A katana.
Oh yeah. Honestly, if I had to choose a weapon, I wouldn't even take like a sword or something because like after a while, it would just get too like real with that. But I would get definitely like nunchucks or something. Can you imagine whacking like a 10-year-old with some nunchucks? Like it's game. Oh, that's one hit. Like with a sword, you kind of have to like. I mean, man, this is getting kind of dark, but like. You know, you kind of hack and slash. After a while, it loses.
Get a machine gun.
Yeah, it loses its. It can't just slice anymore.
Right.
You know, katana, man, or not katana, nunchucks, man. You just get those things a whip. Yeah, you just hit them on the temple or something, dude. It's over. Like, I mean, honestly, yeah, I would love to have like katanas or like a just a wooden stick or something where it's just like just a whack. You know, I think I could get through a good number like that, especially if they're coming in ones. If it's just like a wave of 1, 1, 1. If it was like waves of 5 or something, definitely I'm going Blade, Afro Samurai with it. But yeah, I definitely, if it's one-on-one, definitely 250, man, for sure. So.
All right, so we just finished the final 5. I want you to pick one person that's a significant. You know, whoever you want. Shout out your 8th grade science teacher, your significant other, family member, whoever you want. But you're picking a person, you're encouraging them. Hey, thanks so much for this. You're an awesome person. I love your sense of humor. You know, you did whatever you want to say. You're encouraging another person.
I'm just gonna pick people in general. Just anybody who's out there, who's just striving. Just stay striving toward things. Anyone who views my stuff or anyone who maybe, like if I'm lucky enough that even looks up to me or looks at what I do and just like always just stay positive and stay pushing forward. Like everybody's good at something. It might not be art. It might not be getting around people and like maybe selling things, but everyone's got a passion in something if they're looking for it and they strive hard enough to like look for it. So just be positive, you know, keep God first. Because that's a huge thing, and like, honestly, anything you do. But you know, shout out to my girlfriend. She's been like a rock in my life. You know, she can be kind of a bonehead sometimes, and we both can get on each other's nerves. But you know, shout out to her. Shout out to just people who constantly encourage me and keep me grinding. You know, there's people that message me and call me and like, "Are you drawing, bro? You need to be drawing." Somebody out there's, you know. Working hard, or somebody's not playing Gears of War right now. They're drawing. You know, they always just keep me on the ball. I appreciate that. You know, my parents, obviously, shout out to them just for financial support, for just encouraging words. Yeah, shout out to my parents. Shout out to Nigel. He's you know, he's low key with how he carries himself, but he's really huge in like how I got started with all this stuff and how I got kind of in the indie art scene, honestly. He's very good with like speaking, you know, wise words and encouraging words and even just talking to you to other people. He is always just like, Keys, man, Keys. He's always, Keys, you need to go to Keys. You know, sometimes I'm even like, bro, like, chill. Like, why are you, you're digging my chili hard right now. But, real cool guy, and that's another shout out. Shout out to Classic Buffalo, Vintage Indie for the interview. You know, keeping it positive with the mental health and the just showing people's passions and their platform. That's another big thing. And yeah, so
Yeah, and where can people find you?
you can find me Instagram, Twitter, Facebook if we're close friends. At Keys the Legend. It's the art page. I've had a ton of Instagrams before, but at Keys the Legend. Yeah, on Instagram, everything, and let's work and let's reach out for a print or a commission, and we can bring it to life. So I look forward to hearing from people and new relationships, new fans, new whatever. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Sweet. Bye, guys.